Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Was the real Mitch and Stoll identity destroyed by Matt's new beginning? Before assuming his identity, Matt Clark might have killed the real Mitch Bacall. Will Matt's fresh start finally reveal a concerning turn of events? It has been established that Roger Howarth played Matt Clark, the longtime enemy who caused a lot of problems for Nick and Sharon Newman. However, it's clear that Matt doesn't care about his history and wants everyone to believe he is Mitch. According to Howarth's latest interview with SOD, Matt even has a warped belief in it. Howarth said, "In some way, Matt genuinely believes in the life he has been leading as Mitch for all these years. You kind of know everything about someone who is posing as someone else." The phrasing used by Howarth suggests that Mitch was someone else in the past. Mitch seems to have taken on someone else's persona, rather than just creating his own. If Matt is pretending to be Mitch, viewers will undoubtedly ask what happened to the real man who used that name. Perhaps in the future, Y&R will clarify that Matt killed Mitch and ended his life to highlight his terrible nature. It's possible that Matt saw this as a chance to start again by concentrating on someone who resembled him and wouldn't be missed. Regardless of whether Mitch annoyed him or simply succumbed to the new life Matt wanted, Matt is definitely the kind of person who would take deadly action like this. Matt is free to descend as far as he pleases. The story of how Matt became Mitch may be extremely unsettling, so stay tuned for updates on any fresh revelations regarding this identity transfer and how it all happened. Sienna conceals for Nick's questionable relationship with Matt Victoria. Nick Newman will face off against Mitch Bacall, aka Matt Clark. Victoria Newman begins to suspect Noah Newman's collision, and Sienna Bacall works as a police cover. Let's start with Noah, who is coming out of his medically induced coma. Sharon Newman is happy that her son seems to be doing well. Nick will get a call from the blonde telling him that he must go back to the hospital, which will leave him with a moral dilemma. In addition to wanting to talk to his son, Nick will also have the opportunity to confront Matt/Mitch. Nick might just tell Sharon that he would be there as soon as possible without going into further detail. Sienna, on the other hand, will keep working hard to hide from the authorities. Nick might take advantage of this while Sienna is preoccupied with attacking either Matt or Mitch. After Nick mentioned Matt's name, the woman didn't seem to be pleased with Mitch. Instead, Sienna was more agitated and angry than shocked. As a result, Sienna might eventually have to choose a side. The brunette will grow skeptical and think that the situation is far more complicated than they currently comprehend. Noah might be concealing a number of dangerous secrets, but everyone is hoping he can fill in the blanks. Noah might be dishonest or leave out information that could hurt him later. Although Noah has always been a good man, he has been away from Genoa City for a while, and it is clear that the young man has gotten himself into some very perilous situations. Sienna claims that Mitch intended to invest in Noah's club. It sounds like the mob or a loan shark may have provided Noah money. If that's the case, Noah might still be in danger, especially now that Matt Clark has returned to Nick and Sharon's lives. Fans are reeling from the terrifying mystery surrounding Matt Clark's shocking return to Genoa City under the guise of Mitch Bacall. For weeks, rumors have been circulating that Roger Howarth's character isn't just another alias for the infamous schemer. It might be something far darker. What if Matt's supposed new beginning came at the expense of another man's life? Could it be that Matt Clark killed the real Mitch Bacall before assuming his identity? If so, how long before this twisted secret is revealed and destroys everything he's hard work? It's no secret that Matt Clark has always been one of the young and the restless most cunning and unpredictable villains. From his violent and obsessive behavior to his cruel manipulations of Nick and Sharon Newman, Matt's name has always been associated with danger. However, this most recent chapter of his life as Mitch Bacall raises a terrifying question. How far did Matt go to start over? Did he simply create a new persona, or did he erase an entire human being to do it? The real story of Mitch Bacall. A disturbing degree of psychological delusion is suggested by Roger Howarth's recent interview with Soap Opera Digest, in which he stated that Matt truly believes in the life he has been leading as Mitch for all these years. It seems as though Matt has spent so much time posing as Mitch that he has convinced himself it's real. The actor's use of the phrase "the life he has been leading" suggests that Matt did not create Mitch Bacall, but rather assumed his identity. This raises the most terrifying theory to date. Matt Clark may have killed the real Mitch Bacall. However, Howard's words also carry a darker implication, that there was once a real Mitch Bacall, whose identity and life were stolen by Matt. Imagine this: Matt, desperate to get away from his criminal past, meets a man who resembles him enough to make the switch seem plausible. Perhaps Mitch was a low-key, gullible person with few friends and no close family, making him an ideal target. Perhaps Matt killed Mitch, took on his name, and erased all evidence of the real man's existence. For Matt, it would have been the ultimate fresh start, a way to completely disappear from the rubble of his former life. However, no secret remains hidden forever in Genoa City. Behind the mask, the monster. Would Matt Clark really stop short of murder to achieve his new beginning? Probably not, given his history of assaulting Sharon, framing Nick, and attempting to ruin their lives in the most heinous ways imaginable, faking deaths, manipulating identities, and manipulating emotions for his own gain. If anything, killing Mitch Bacall might have been the pinnacle of Matt's pathology. It's not just about running away from his past, it's about dominance and control. Matt would have shown himself that he could change history and atone for his transgressions by killing Mitch and stealing his life. But as soap opera viewers are aware, the past always finds a way to come back. Sienna's secrets and Victoria's suspicions. While Matt puts in a lot of effort to keep up his facade as Mitch Bacall, cracks are starting to appear. Victoria Newman, who has always been a perceptive businesswoman and protective mother, is becoming more wary of the man everyone knows as Mitch. His reactions to certain names, especially Nick and Sharon, are telling, and his stories don't always add up. As Noah Newman gradually awakens from his medically induced coma, he begins to remember bits and pieces of the night that almost killed him. Although his memories are hazy, it becomes evident that Mitch Bacall was somehow involved, which makes Victoria even more uneasy. In the meantime, Sienna Bacall, Mitch's purported wife or possibly widow, finds herself in a precarious situation. She has been attempting to evade law enforcement, hiding her tracks, and upholding the delusion that her husband is who he claims to be. But Sienna's emotional responses reveal her identity. When Nick mentions Matt Clark's name, Sienna loses her composure, and her agitation and rage imply that she knows more than she's letting on. Is Sienna another victim of Matt's deceit? Or is she participating in the identity theft? Maybe she found out the truth about her husband's true identity, and realized too late that she had married a killer. Nick's ethical conundrum. Nick Newman is caught between two strong instincts: his need for justice and his obligation as a father. When Sharon calls to let him know that Noah is awakening, Nick knows he should head straight to the hospital, but he also knows that Matt, posing as Mitch, is still out there weaving his web of lies. After all that Matt has done to his family, the idea that he is still alive and well under a false identity makes Nick furious. He wants to protect Noah and Sharon, but he also wants retribution. This is the kind of internal conflict that could have disastrous results. When Nick eventually confronts Matt, it won't be a courteous conversation. Rather, it will be a confrontation that has been building for years. Nick will demand to know the truth. What did you do to Mitch Bacall? Did you kill him? But as is often the case, Matt may fabricate the story, gaslight Nick, and control everyone around him until no one can tell what's true anymore. The shadow of Noah's history. Sienna informed authorities that Mitch had intended to invest in Noah's new club, but there were rumors of loan sharks and mob connections lurking behind the scenes. Noah's storyline adds another layer to this complex web. Prior to his crash, Noah had been involved in a dubious business deal involving Mitch Bacall. What if Noah discovered Matt's secret and was silenced for it? What if Mitch was actually laundering money instead of investing? The pieces begin to fit together. Noah's mishap, Sienna's fear, Victoria's skepticism, and Nick's rage all suggest a bigger plot, with Matt Clark, wearing Mitch Bacall's skin like a trophy, at its core. The cover-up of Sienna. It's unclear from Sienna Bacall's actions whether she's defending herself, her family, or the memory of the real Mitch, but one thing is for sure: Sienna is aware of the truth. If Matt killed Mitch, Sienna might have assisted in the cover-up out of fear or self-preservation. She might have been an accomplice from the beginning, helping Matt falsify documents, get rid of evidence, and solidify his stolen identity. Or she might have learnt her husband's true identity after the fact and decided to comply out of fear of what he might do if she exposed him. But Sienna's mounting remorse might be her downfall. The more she engages with Nick and Sharon, the more difficult it is for her to keep up the lie. And as Victoria keeps probing, Sienna might soon find herself in a difficult situation where she must decide between staying silent and surviving. Victoria's research. Victoria Newman has never been one to watch helplessly when something seems off. Her intuition is keen, and recently, she feels uneasy after every interaction with Mitch. His charm seems forced, and his understanding of several financial matters doesn't align with his purported background. Determined to uncover the truth, Victoria begins her own quiet investigation. She taps into Newman Enterprises' vast network of contacts, calling in favors and examining old records. That's when she finds something shocking. A man named Mitch Bacall did exist, but he disappeared years ago, shortly before Matt Clark's reappearance. The dates are too similar to be coincidental. Could Matt have found Mitch, murdered him, and taken control of his life? If this assumption is correct, Victoria becomes increasingly terrified because she knows that Matt is a murderer who has been hiding among them, not just a cunning scam artist. Sharon's nightmare comes back. The reappearance of Matt Clark's name is like a ghost coming back to torment Sharon Newman. Despite her best efforts to start over, she is continually plagued by memories of Matt's brutality. When she discovers that the man everyone knows as Mitch may truly be Matt, it sends her into a tailspin. The near-fatal crash that left Noah in a coma feels less like an accident and more like a warning. Could Matt have planned the whole thing as retaliation against Nick and Sharon for their previous victory over him? Sharon can't get rid of the fear that Matt might pursue her again, or worse, that he already has. Sharon's dread turns into resolve. She is no longer the helpless victim Matt once intimidated. Now she is prepared to defend herself. The dark reveal looms. The truth about Mitch Bacall's fate is about to be revealed as Victoria's inquiry intensifies. Sienna's guilt becomes intolerable, and Nick's rage approaches a breaking point. This is one of the Young and the Restless' most stunning revelations. Genoa City will soon discover that Mitch Bacall never really existed, not in the way they believed. Whether a piece of overlooked evidence, a DNA test, an old photograph, or a witness who recalls something crucial, or Noah's memory reappears, revealing a flash of violence, a struggle, or even a gunshot. The consequences will be disastrous when it is established that Matt Clark killed Mitch and took on his identity. If Sienna survives the truth, she will have to face the world knowing that she loved and maybe assisted a murderer. Sharon will be plagued by memories of her past suffering. Victoria will swear to protect her family at all means, and Nick will erupt in wrath, demanding justice. Matt's last fall. Matt's tenuous hold on reality could completely collapse as the walls close in. The man who once took great pride in his ability to maintain control could go completely insane, believing that everyone is out to ruin his meticulously planned life. His perverted conviction that he is Mitch Bacall could push him to extreme lengths, possibly even committing another murder to keep his secret. The irony is that he grew more horrible than ever in an attempt to bury Matt Clark. In his perspective, he is not the villain, but rather the survivor, the man who remade himself and overcame his past problems. The unavoidable conflict. The pivotal confrontation between Nick and Matt seems inevitable. Years of animosity, suffering, and loss will explode in a single explosive encounter. Nick, driven by love and retaliation for his family, will face Matt not as Mitch Bacall but as the monster he has always been. Nick will growl, "Admit it. You killed Mitch. You killed him and stole his life. You think you can hide behind a new name, but I see right through you. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But at least Mitch Bacall mattered." Matt Clark was nothing. Matt, who has always been a skilled manipulator, may grin and murmur. Fans will gasp at this kind of spine-tingling line. In conclusion, evil never truly perishes. Matt Clark's transformation into Mitch Bacall is more than just a disguise. It's a psychological horror tale about obsession, guilt, and the impossibility of escaping one's past. In the end, The Young and the Restless may be setting up one of its most memorable identity twist storylines. In addition to solidifying Matt's status as one of Genoa City's most deadly villains, the Newmans will once more find themselves at the center of a storm of betrayal, terror, and retaliation if he indeed killed Mitch and stole his identity. No matter how many names you steal in Genoa City, the truth always finds you, and when it does, it destroys everything in its path. So one thing is clear as the truth draws nearer. Matt Clark's new beginning is destined to end in flames. Genoa City is no stranger to deceit, but this time the lies have reached an almost psychopathic level. Matt's new beginning, once perceived as a chance at redemption, may instead be the ultimate deception, one built on the grave of another man. As hints surface and suspicions grow, it becomes terrifyingly clear that this isn't just about a man changing his name. It's about a killer creating a new life out of someone else's bones. Mitch's vanishing act. The missing man. According to old records Victoria unearthed, Mitch Bacall was not a powerful businessman or celebrity. Rather, he was a quiet, mild-mannered consultant who lived in California, kept to himself, had few close friends, and was the type of man who wouldn't make the front page if he disappeared. This made him an ideal target for someone like Matt Clark, who was desperate to vanish and start over. After conducting a covert investigation into Mitch's past, Victoria comes to the startling conclusion that he abruptly disappeared almost 7 years ago. His car was abandoned in a remote canyon close to the desert, his lease was terminated, his bank accounts were depleted, and no body was ever discovered. At the time, local police believed Mitch had either skipped town or committed suicide, but Victoria can't ignore the timing. Just months after Mitch's disappearance, a man named Mitch Bacall started operating covertly in Chicago, creating shell corporations, laundering money, and living as if he had been alive for years. The two are stunned when she shares her results with Nick. Everything suggests that Matt killed Mitch and took his life. This is a strategy that perfectly suits his perverted psychology. Delete one man, put yourself in his position, and act as though you were always him. Victoria's concerns don't end there, though, as she learns of another transaction involving Mitch Bacall and an unidentified Los Angeles partner. The transaction involved an astounding sum of money, and Sienna Bacall was the name on it. The Web of Lies by Sienna. Sienna's name keeps cropping up in relation to every dubious thread Victoria pulls on. It's as if she's the focal point of the whole plot, a woman teetering on the brink of catastrophe. She's been hiding things, and her emotional outbursts are starting to reveal them. It appears that Sienna was aware from the start that the man she married wasn't who he claimed to be, as her marriage records are inconsistent, displaying variations of both names depending on the state and year. According to some documents Victoria obtains, Sienna was legally connected to both Mitch and Matt. But why stay? Why shield him? The explanation may be fear or blackmail. Maybe Sienna found out about Mitch's death too late and Matt coerced her into keeping quiet. Or perhaps she was already complicit, assisting him in forging documents, laundering money, and erasing all evidence of the real Mitch. It's clear from her panic whenever Nick brings up Matt's name that she is both terrified and plagued by guilt, fearing that if the truth comes out, she will be implicated in identity theft and possibly murder. The weight of her decisions has become intolerable. She knows that Matt is losing control once more, that his old demons are resurfacing, and that it is only a matter of time until he turns his wrath on her too. Sienna breaks down in private moments behind closed doors, staring at old photos of the real Mitch smiling in a sunlit park, unaware that death was coming for him. Noah's healing. The secret to everything. Noah Newman's recuperation at the hospital, where he is weak, confused, and plagued by partial memories of the night of his accident, adds another level of tension while Victoria and Nick piece together the mystery. Nick splits his time between consoling his family and going after the man he believes is to blame. As Noah's memory starts to come back, he becomes visibly uncomfortable whenever the name Mitch Bacall is brought up. He recalls meeting Mitch for a business discussion about investing in his club, but the conversation took a dark turn because Mitch was more interested in control, leverage, and secrecy than in legitimate investment opportunities. The last thing Noah remembers prior to the collision is a furious argument, headlights in the rearview mirror, and the sensation that someone was pursuing him. Noah recalls Mitch implying that the club might be used as a front for specific financial operations. When Noah refused, Mitch's friendly manner turned icy and menacing. Did Matt run him off the road while pretending to be Mitch? If that's the case, the attempt on Noah's life wasn't coincidental. Rather, it was a deliberate attempt to silence him before he could reveal what he had discovered. Nick's tipping point. The potential that Matt, his family's former tormentor, may have returned under a fake identity to harm them once more infuriates Nick, and the thought that Matt may have attempted to kill Noah in order to keep his secret drives him over the edge. Nick's protective instincts are on fire, and when he looks into Mitch Bacall's smug, unflinching eyes, he sees only the monster who destroyed his family's peace decades ago. Sharon begs him to remain composed and concentrate on their son's recovery, but Nick can't let it go. He feels a primal need to confront Matt face to face, to make him admit what he's done.